Hello everyone, I'm Courtney and I am the Emmy Lion. Today I'm going to talk to you about failing on the carnivore diet, some of the consequences of those fails, and that there's no shame in that, just get back on the horse, right? So this is my second attempt at the carnivore way of eating, and I am day 68 into this diet. And I have to admit, I'm feeling great, which is hard to wrap my head around because I've been so incredibly sick and weak and just it's been crazy. It's been so crazy for 7 years. And I don't think I ever completely gave up hope, but I was kind of getting to that point where it's like, I think you may be stuck. You may have to find some kind of acceptance with this, and acceptance is something I've struggled with because it feels like surrender. And I'm not saying that's true. I think there are times in our lives we have to accept things, but I haven't been able to do that with my health journey. So I've continued to fight, and so here I am doing the carnivore diet. Like I said, I'm 68 days in, and I'm feeling good. I almost feel like I could take off running down my driveway. I'm not going to do that. I know that the MECFS is not gone, so I'm going to try to be really smart. I'm really bad to jump into things and do too much too fast and sabotage my results. So slow and steady, forward progress, trying not to have any crashes. Post-exertional malaise is the technical term for that. So just trying to go forward and build strength. But when I first decided to do this diet, I heard about it through one Canadian psychologist who had talked about his daughter's journey, his journey, and the fact that his wife was doing it. And I thought, wow, that's great. I'm glad that's working for you. It never really occurred to me that I might want to try it. It just sounded so crazy and extreme. And I thought, gee whiz, I'm already on such a limited diet. I can't imagine giving up anything else. And I have been on an extremely restricted diet for the past 7 years. I developed all these crazy food intolerances when my health went haywire. It's like overnight, my body just turned on me and on everything else too. So I was already, barely eating anything other than just meat and vegetables. I had heard about it. I read Dr. Sean Baker's book. I listened to some carnivore content and podcasts, and there was one key thing that everybody pretty much said, which was, look, if you're thinking of doing this diet, don't jump right in. Ease into it, especially if you're coming from like a standard American diet. You're going to want to start reducing your carbohydrates, do like a ketogenic diet first, and then slide into the carnivore diet, which is obviously just a really extreme ketogenic diet. So I knew better, but I did not heed those words of wisdom. I decided, no, I'm going to do this, and I jumped right in. And it seemed like that wasn't a problem until about day 50. Yeah, things started going really haywire. And I'll just kind of I think I'll back up a little bit. So right off the bat, I'm talking within like the first 7 days, I lost about 15 pounds. Now, I was only 120 pounds to begin with. I've always been really petite, and so it's not unusual for me to be small. I've been, between 100 and 10, 15 pounds like most of my adult life. But I dropped the weight so fast, and I had already been so unwell, and I think my body was already just confused and going haywire and kind of in this state of emergency, I think, you know. So losing weight that rapidly, well, it can cause your hair to fall out, and mine did start falling out. It has thinned out so much, you guys. Oh my gosh. In fact, that's not really that uncommon if you change to like abruptly into any diet. I've listened to Bella, the steak and butter gal. If you're not familiar with her, you need to check her out. She's lovely and she's got great content. But she talked about going through a phase of hair loss as well, which is really terrifying, you know, as you just, when you're washing your hair, you know, you're just pulling clumps of hair out. And I don't have super full hair to begin with, so I don't really feel like I have it to spare. Thankfully, that has stopped. The excessive shedding has stopped. It's back to what is normal. And I'm hoping that, you know, it fills back in and comes back even better. That seems to be the common thread with most carnivores. If they experienced hair thinning or hair loss, not only did it come back, it came back thicker and it came back darker. So really hoping for that. But along with all that weight loss, I think I got really dehydrated. They say if you drop a lot of weight pretty quickly that it's probably fluid, and probably from inflammation. And I think in my case that would make a lot of sense. I have been carrying around massive inflammation. And so I think I got really dehydrated, and I think I got my electrolytes out of whack. And that brings me to number 2. I didn't do supplementation with electrolytes, and you definitely should do it. Do the electrolytes, okay? just do it. I thought that won't be necessary. I don't know why I thought that, but I don't know. I thought that's ridiculous. I don't need those. Second time around, I definitely did the electrolytes, and yes, I'm doing the Element electrolytes. And I don't like, it's not really a promotion or anything. I don't like, I'm a nobody. This is my second YouTube video, so who the heck cares who I am or what I think or have to say. So but just from my experience, the Element electrolytes have been incredibly helpful, and I actually look forward to my Element drink every morning. I actually really enjoy it. I like salty things, so it doesn't bother me that it's super salty. I'm not gonna lie though, it's pricey. I went ahead and bought like the 120 count pack, and I'm still moving through those, but you know, I don't know if I want to go through that expense the second time around. They're really convenient though. They work well, and I think the flavor is really nice. So I'm not, you know, talking bad about it or anything. It's pricey. But here's the thing with Element. They are actually cool enough that on their website, they have a recipe. If you want to make the electrolyte drink yourself, for probably pennies on the dollar, they have a recipe where you can just do a DIY. So check that out. Don't be discouraged. Guys, I know that the word on the street is that carnivore is really expensive, and it can be. I'm doing a fairly expensive version of carnivore right now, but it doesn't have to be. A lot of people do this diet with ground beef, eggs, pork belly, In fact, I'll go back to Bella, Steak and Butter Gal. She has, I think, more than one video on budget-friendly, delicious carnivore meals. So, check that out if you haven't already. I'm doing ribeyes and egg yolks, and the reason I'm sticking with that is because that's where I feel the best. I'm doing the best on that. It seems to be sort of a magic ratio. I think ribeyes are about a 1-to-1 ratio on fat and protein, and I think eggs are about the same. So because I find myself needing more fat, I am cooking my eggs in a big heaping spoonful of duck fat, way more than I would actually need to just cook the eggs. But and I'm just doing egg yolks. I thought I was intolerant to eggs. It turns out I'm just intolerant to the whites. So when I cook my egg yolks, I just kind of do them like scrambled eggs or like an omelet, and I just kind of low and slow let them, and they cook really fast anyway, but I just kind of let them absorb all that extra fat. And duck fat, if you haven't tried it, is really delicious. It kind of has a earthy, nutty, maybe flavor to it. A little bit sweet, not really, but kind of. And I think it makes whatever you put it on really, really delicious. So, so far that seems to be working really well for me. So I recommend that. I tried eating butter, and I think I did pretty well with that in the very beginning when I was just needing a whole lot more fat. However, I am lactose intolerant, and I am pretty sensitive to the lactose, and I know that butter, it just has trace amounts of lactose in it. So even if you're lactose intolerant, there's a good chance you can still tolerate butter. And I can tolerate it some, but trying to eat it every single day in large amounts I think it started kind of activating my IBD symptoms. I don't know if it was that or if it was just kind of the nature of the beast, but anyway, I've kind of pulled back on the butter a little bit. I still eat some here and there. It's delicious, but I'm not doing it as much as I was. So I guess that brings me to point number 3. First time around, I was not getting enough fat. I don't think I had fully wrapped my head around what I was doing. So I'm like, okay, we're basically just eating meat. I knew I needed like fatty cuts of meat. It just had not really clicked yet that, hi, you. Hello. This is Emmylou. This is Emmy. Okay. This is Emmylou, everybody. Say hi. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't quite wrapped my head around the fact that fat's like the main event, because that's what you're burning for energy. Obviously, protein is crucially important as well, but your energy source is the fat. And if you have a lot of healing to do, you need more fat. And if you're super petite like I am, you're probably going to need more fat. And some people say they do better with more protein. Some people say they do better with more fat. We are all individual, and you're going to have to kind of figure that out for yourself. There's no really one size fits all for anything in life, and not this either. So, okay. So we've talked about not jumping into the diet. We've talked about electrolytes. We've talked about fat. This one is a big one. This started happening my first time around day 50. Meat aversion. Oh my gosh. This is a nasty one, guys. And this is what caused me to ultimately have to just pull the plug and jump out of this experiment. I started getting to the place that the sight of meat, certainly the smell of it, the thought of eating it, chewing it, it became so repulsive to me. I couldn't do it. So I started digging around a little bit, and people were saying, well, that's not uncommon. Just wait until you're really good and hungry. If you're not hungry, don't eat, and just wait until the idea of a steak or something sounds good to you. And I thought, okay, that sounds a little overly simple, but okay. And so I did that, and I realized that I had gone about 4 days and had not even had a 1 pound of ground beef. At this point, I'm getting super weak. I think at this point, my electrolytes are out of whack. I'm not getting enough fat. I haven't had enough to eat in general. At this point, I'm really dehydrated. And this is a double whammy for me because I'm already someone who has extreme orthostatic intolerances, which means that you have a lot of dizziness with position changes. It affects your blood pressure and your heart rate. So I've dealt with that for the past 7 years. Pretty extreme. Sometimes it'd be a little better, sometimes it'd be a little worse. But this really made that orthostatic issue unbearable. I was so weak. My husband, I was kind of like back to square one 7 years ago when I first got so sick. Around day 50, I'm so weak that my husband is having to bathe me. He's having to help me put on my socks and underwear. He's having to, help me put my clothes on, period. He's having to help me into the bed, in and out of the chair. I'm having to hold onto his arm to walk. All of a sudden, I'm taking like 10 steps backwards. And up until that point, I was doing really well. I was like, man, this carnivore diet is amazing. I feel great. I can't believe it. So look, if you're struggling, don't beat yourself up. You may have to stop, regroup, figure out where you went wrong, and try again, okay? The second issue to that is that I'm someone who has really low blood pressure. On a good day, my blood pressure hangs out at like the very bottom of the normal range. So it doesn't take much to make me hypotensive. That's why I think I have such a problem with heat intolerance, and that's why I've really struggled with just standing to take a shower. I'm so wiped out after I take a shower. I actually use a little shower stool now. But I think I might be getting close to not needing it. So anyway, so my blood pressure was really low. I started checking that on a daily basis, and I'm below the normal range. My heart rate is really fast, and that's how your body kind of compensates for that. If your blood pressure goes down, your heart rate goes up. Homeostasis. And even my pulse pressure got really narrow. So, and that's the difference between your top number and your bottom number. You should have like 30 or 40 points between your top and bottom blood pressure number. And I was having like 10 points between mine. And I was super symptomatic of that. In fact, I was like this close to calling the doctor. Like, I'm really struggling with my blood pressure here. I cannot get back on my feet, So at that point, I tried to struggle through for like another 10 days. I made it to 60 days my first time around, and then I had no choice. I had to quit. I couldn't get enough food to eat. The meat aversion was crazy. And even like my go-to when nothing else sounded good, which was eggs, even eggs started being really gross too. And so I felt like there was nothing I could eat. And I went too long without being able to eat, not enough fat, electrolytes are out of whack, blood pressure too low, heart rate too high, so I got myself in a real pickle. I got myself in a real pickle. So when these doctors and people who've been doing carnivore for a while are telling you, use electrolytes, don't jump into this, listen to that. Especially, like if you're a relatively healthy person and you're just doing carnivore to lose weight, okay, you might be a little more robust. If you are really sick and you've been chronically ill for years, take the advice of people who have gone before you and don't make things harder on yourself than you need to. I'm really stubborn and headstrong, and sometimes that's a good thing. And sometimes it just makes you do stupid. Sometimes it can just make you kind of flippant and arrogant, and that's never a good quality, and it's not attractive, and boy, you just make messes for yourself. So here's the thing. Here's my advice. Don't be so extreme. Look, I was like 30 days into it my first time around and thought, oh, maybe I'll do the lion diet, which is like the most extreme version of the carnivore diet. It is just beef and salt and water. Don't do that either. Just, if you're going to start the carnivore diet, do it in a way that you can be successful, even if it's imperfect, even if you need to sort of tighten things up as you go along. Doing it is better than not doing it. Right now I'm still using pepper, and people are like, don't use pepper, it's a nightshade. Nah, I know, okay. I can't do just salt right now. It's gross. Like, the meat with just the salt is not appealing to me. I feel certain that I'll get there. Right now I need salt and pepper. I've cut everything else out. It's just salt and pepper. So meat, salt, pepper, water, egg yolks, that's all I'm eating. Occasionally I will have chicken thighs. I love them. They're delicious. I look forward to them. I don't feel as good on them. My digestive tract doesn't do as well on them. So I'm noticing the most benefits from just the beef and the egg yolks. And that's where my ME/CFS is having better results, and where my inflammatory bowel disease is also having better results. I haven't talked as much about the inflammatory bowel disease, and honestly, it's probably the most serious thing I'm dealing with, but it's not the most troublesome thing that I'm dealing with. Again, the most devastating and debilitating thing that I've dealt with is the ME/CFS. That's been my biggest struggle. That's my biggest fight. But IBD is incredibly serious. They don't know if mine is ulcerative colitis or Crohn's. I think they're leaning more towards ulcerative colitis. Either way, neither one of them are fun. You don't want them. It's not a walk in the park. It's painful. It's just, I won't get into all the bathroom stuff. If you know, you know. So anyway, carnivore it's changing my life. I will stand by this diet. I don't know if I'm going to have to do it forever. If I have to do it forever to feel as good as I feel right now, I'm going to do it forever, okay? I hope that I don't have to do it forever, because I'm a foodie. I love food. So it's not fun for me to just eat meat and eggs. It's taking some getting used to. Thankfully, the second time around, I'm not having the meat aversion. I get a little palate fatigue, but when I sit down to eat my meal, I enjoy it. It's good. A steak is still really tasty to me. And so, we do the best we can, right? And I also want to stress, because in my first video, I mentioned that I'm a registered nurse. This is not medical advice. You've got to do what's best for you. There are a lot of opinions out there. There are a lot of experts steering us in, I think, really absurd and dangerous directions. So you've got to be your own advocate. You have got to be a seeker and a teachable spirit. You want to keep learning, and you've got to do what's best for you. I don't know if carnivore is the best option for everybody. I can't I can't definitively say that. I don't know. But I can tell you, for me, it is changing my life, and I mean that. I really can't wrap my head around how ill I have been, how weak I have been. And guys, I have a long way to go. I know that. But the fact that I can get out of the house and do anything, like I called my neighbor the other day and I said, hey, would you like to get out and go shopping? That's not something I can do, okay? I had to get a handicap placard a couple of years ago because I can't even walk, like through the parking lot. If I had to park at like the back of a parking lot, I'd be completely wiped out before I even got in the store, okay? So I'm coming from a place of such weakness. I can't find the word I'm looking for right now, but you haven't seen that. I wasn't able to record that part of my life, and I really was too embarrassed and vulnerable to put it out there. It's hard. It's hard to admit that you've gotten weak. It's hard, to kind of lose your muscle mass and feel like you're losing your looks. And it's hard to tell people that, you're not able to work. Our culture and our society puts a lot of emphasis on a lot of things that you lose when you become chronically ill, and you kind of become invisible. And then you kind of question your value as a person and your self-worth. And let me tell you, don't do that. And I'm going to do a video of how this 7 years of suffering has actually turned out to be a very transformative time in my life. And there've been a lot of blessings in this very dark period that I wouldn't trade for the world. And I won't get into that right now. But let me tell you, if you're sick, if you've been chronically ill and you feel lonely, you feel forgotten, you think, I'm a waste of space, I have no purpose now, I can't possibly go on like this, stop it. Don't go there. I need you to keep your head above water, okay? Don't go to that dark place, because, take my word for it, it's really hard to claw your way back out. I've been in that dark place, and I swear you think you're not going to come out of it, okay? By the grace of God, I've come out of it. And I'm going to talk about this diet because it's been transformative, but I don't at all want to neglect to give glory to God. I know He pointed me in this direction, and so it's all up to Him and to His glory. But He can point us in certain directions, and then we have to do the work. So I'm willing to do the work. But I just want you to know that if you're out there and you're suffering with chronic illness, you're not alone, and there is hope. Please don't give up hope. And I don't know you, but there's a kindred spirit out there, okay? One of you out there is going through something similar to me, okay? We're kindred spirits, and we can love each other. We don't have to really know each other, but we can just love each other as humans and appreciate each other's struggle and pray for one another and hope the best for each other. So stay positive, keep your head up, and keep fighting, okay? I'm gonna leave it there today. This is already a much longer video than I wanted it to be. I've been wanting to stay around like 10 minutes, and here I am at almost 30 minutes. So I apologize. I'm gonna try to work on that and cut the time down. But anyway, in the meantime, this girl is gonna keep fighting and eating like a lion. I'll catch you later.